Hey there, guys! Welcome to another Robidoux live stream here today. Today we do have a very special subject we're going to cover. And Brooke, what is that subject we're covering today?
It is a very special subject. We are going to be talking about banking, also as it relates to the gold rush of 49.
Yes, exactly. And some other gold rushes that also exist. We may talk into a little bit on those.
Mm-hmm.
But before that, we do want to play you guys a special trailer for an updated exhibit that we have here at the Row. We did just update one of our rooms here in the area, and we'd love you guys to check out the trailer. So after the trailer, we'll jump right into banking here in St. Joe, and specifically we're going to be talking about a very special banker that was here in St. Joe that was kind of impactful in the whole United States. So we'll see you after the presentation. You guys have a great day.
Hello and welcome to my bedroom and kitchen. In this room, you will find items from my life and the lives of my children. Let me tell you about my life.
The gold rushes of 1849, 1858, 1862, and 1865 in California, Colorado, Montana, and Idaho, respectively, had a major impact on St. Joseph and its growth. While St. Joseph, before the gold rushes, was known as a city of commerce for traders and mountain men bringing pelts and other goods and that variety, and mercantiles were growing up around the area quickly, you saw a major growth in the gold trade. Before the gold rush, there was even a suggestion that when the town was named, it not be called St. Joseph or Robidoux, but rather known as Beaver City. This was quickly forgotten when the gold rush occurred, and mercantile members moved from the mercantile business selling furs or clothing into the banking business because gold was rushing from the west to the east, leading to multiple banks and multiple different businesses exploding in the area. There was multiple articles in the 1840s of St. Joseph becoming wildly rich over the gold trade that was coming in from the West.
I also wanted to note that in the early days, the direct way to transmute gold dust into money was to forward it to the U.S. Mint to be coined at the rate of $20.67 per ounce of fine gold, which in today's standards is roughly $420. It wasn't until 1854 that the U.S. Treasury actually established a branch in San Francisco. So before that, you would definitely have to rely on direct mail, the overland coaches, the trains, and the steamers. During the 1850s alone, Californians forwarded at least 500 million worth of gold to its eastern ports. And one of those important figures today we are going to discuss, named Robert Washington Donnell. He was a gentleman that was born in 1816. He also was of white Irish descent and ended up coming into Missouri in the early 1830s. He ended up opening a general store on 4th and Felix in St. Joseph about 1848 with Alb Saxton. There was also a young man who would become prominent in his own right that sought employment by these two individuals just by simply wanting to learn the biz. R.L. McDonald, you'll see on some of our banking statements that we'll be showing you in this video. So Donald Saxton and McDonald ended up having an assortment of merchandising, stores, and a fine and fashionable goods for ladies. But in 1856, Donald decided to embark on a new project with Saxton, and they started a bank in 1857 called Bank of the State of Missouri. There would be only 5 branches of this bank in the state of Missouri at that time. They moved additional operations in a building that was constructed by Piffler that is now home to the Missouri Trust Company and surprisingly still stands today. Beautiful building. Donnell was in a group of 21 other men who gave city property and also pledges to promote freighting with eastern terminus of the Pony Express operations. Overall, Donnell aided public transportation and shipping initiatives during the gold rush that also included the railroad. Wells Fargo, which was a cab service for carriages, in addition to the Pony Express. So I definitely wanted to mention the involvement Donnell had in the advances of transportation because of the gold rush. The Civil War took a turn for Donnell. He was asked to pledge an oath of allegiance, and as a result would then become an informer for Southern sympathizers. He adamantly chose not to sign and became jailed for several months as a consequence. With denying this oath, he decided to leave St. Joe and ventured out into Montana. And as far as we know, Donald formed a new partnership with a guy named William Clark. He seemed to repeat himself in this venture, open up another general store, a general merchant store, and then venture back into the banking business seemed to be his MO. He was able to form friendships that blossomed into partnerships and so forth. So his first general store in Montana was in Virginia City, which was simply in a small log cabin where you could price gouge. Then he was able to open up a second store in 1867. And then after that, he decided he wanted to venture back into the banking business. So we're seeing a trend here. In 1867, there was another firm organized, which was a wise financial move for him, as the gold rush in Montana proved to be very beneficial. So he made quite a bit of money. In fact, he made so much money that he set his sights for New York City. So in 1870, Donald organized a New York banking firm branch and was the correspondent of over 400 Western banks. It also served as fiscal agent for the states of Missouri, Kansas, and Nebraska. The output of gold and Montana brought gold dust shipped back by Donald to Montana by way of Wells Fargo to St. Joseph and beyond in deerskin bags. Donald went on to become the largest dealer of gold and silver bullion in the world, it says, notably. There were branches thereafter established in London and Paris,
which would then be sold to the kings and queens of Europe, to the point where even one of Donald's partner's wives, Mrs. Lawson, was presented to the court of Queen Victoria. This went on for a number of years until about 1884, when the finances kind of dried up because of a trade partner that caused an issue for Mr. Donald. He then sold his stocks in his banks in St. Joseph and Montana, and then eventually moved on to retirement. In 1892, he did pass away via stroke and was buried at Mount Mora Cemetery. A number of very important members of the St. Joseph Society were his pallbearers, including Judge Silas Woodson, George Buell, R.L. McDonald, Israel Landis, James McCord, and A.N. Schuster. The number of people who came was overwhelming, including people all the way up into their nearly 90 years old were coming to visit, who knew him all the way back in his times in North Carolina. So through his years, he did trade in both mercantile and bank, and he kind of became widely instrumental in creating the need to move through St. Joseph, through his advertisement of what people should come to travel to California for gold and Oregon for lifestyle. Thanks so much for joining us today. We do hope you enjoyed that presentation on banking and on Robert Donald. He was a very fascinating person here from St. Joseph, and his life seemed like it had quite a few interesting twists and turns. We do have a couple things we're going to cover about the row here, and stuff, just kind of update you guys on stuff. So, Brooke, can you guys give me a couple updates on some stuff?
Yeah, we are in full swing of our summer hours. So we are open from 10 to 4, Wednesday through Saturday. Also, we do have an event rental space that includes the garden. So if you're having a party or perhaps a wedding, please do give us a call. I'd be happy to show you around.
Definitely. We know it's graduation season, so if you guys have, you still have a graduation party coming up in the next couple weeks, we do still have a few openings available. So if you're looking for a space, we might have something for you for that. Or if you're looking for a wedding, we have a beautiful garden that is in full bloom that you can definitely come and check out and see. Along with that, of course, we have all the new exhibits. We will be displaying some new exhibits in the next upcoming weeks, so some new ones that we're finishing up that we'd love you guys to come out and see.
Yeah, and I think the goal is to continue with rotating the exhibits, so we're always going to have fresh content.
Definitely. So thanks so much for joining us here this week. Next week, be back here for another edition of the Buildings That Built St. Joseph. And you guys have a great day. Bye.